Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. It is the 9th of April, 2025, and we've just watched another great evening of Champions League games and have a couple of Man United stories for you. But first of all, I'm joined by the man in the red bedroom. It's Yabba Thorbs.
Yes, I'm just setting the scene, bath time, making it a bit romantic,
Oh, yes.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. And as you know, I was watching Champions League tonight and falling in love with football again. I think seen some really good games lately, last couple of nights. And even though it's not Man United, you've just got to give that respect to first of all the managers who can get a team of 11 players or even a squad of players to play to represent the manager on the pitch. That's something that you might think that was easy. It's not easy. Very rare you see a team performing to the pinnacle and performing brilliantly enough over a long period of time to dominate and really put themselves over on other teams. And I've seen like with PSG, they're looking really good, and their manager must be really buzzing right now to see their players representing for him. And obviously Arteta yesterday must feel really happy with the result and finally getting his players to represent for him as well, and making him feel that he's worthy, making him feel like he's up there. So big up to all the managers, and especially to Mr. B, because you see Mr. B, he's been nothing but teeth lately. He's always skinning and smiling lately because his team is doing great as well. So big up to Mr. B. I know you won again at the weekend, and you're probably going to get promoted this season. So another happy manager, along with Luis Enrique and Arteta, is Mr. B.
And the thing that all three of them have in common, Yabba, is that they all have their team kit. Have you made any strides on getting clothes for your players yet?
It's no closer to getting the kit together. But I'll tell you something, what really annoys me, like most of the guys, I start the season with a big kit bag, 22 shirts, socks, shorts, and people say, oh, I'll take it home. I can't be bothered. I'll take it home. I'll wash it at home. And then they don't turn up. We got one guy, Omar, I'm calling you out. He took the number 10 and hasn't returned since. He came once, I think. And then the other day we've been short of shirts and shit, kit. So I'm saying to people, don't take it home anymore, just because I've got about 7 shirts left to wash. And if people don't turn up, then we're going to struggle. But anyway, enough about that. How are you, Bath Time? How was your day today, and what did you enjoy the football?
I really enjoyed the football. I had a great day. I enjoyed the football last night. Tonight I watched PSG versus Aston Villa. Extraordinary high quality from PSG. I was watching it thinking, like, where are they going to get goals from, though? They don't have a centre forward, as it were, and just like insane Champions League quality players turned up. Like the Carrot Man is just out of this world, isn't he? Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah. Just
wow.
In his own lane. He's in his own lane as a footballer.
It does feel like a throwback to like a sort of like more, I don't know, like a sort of 70s winger or something.
Yeah,
from what I see.
Yeah, like a John Robinson, Lentini. I don't even remember Lentini. Reminds me of him. He had a short career, but yeah.
Was he the car crash guy?
Yeah, that's right. Do you remember him? Yeah.
Well, I believe he was the most expensive player in the world for a while, and then
he was
in a terrible car crash.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, that Carrot guy or whatever you call him, I can't pronounce his name, but what a player he is. Slows it down, plays at his pace, strong. He was taking people on walkabouts. I saw him like when they were 2-1 up, he was taking the defenders on walkabout, and I was thinking, if I was that defender, I'd be blowing and knowing I have to go with him, and he just walk you off, take you somewhere. And then what they did really well, PSG today, it's like they were looking, obviously Villa set up and they were organised, but they were just looking to drag them out of position and then pass the ball. You can see between the two little Portuguese guys playing pass to each other. It's like, and I'm thinking, are they taking a mickey? But really, they're just waiting for someone to come out of their block and play it around them, and exactly what happened. Really,
It's like the roundabout that Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets used to do tonight.
What do you explain the roundabout? I know.
It's like just Yeah, like it's just all three of them on different levels popping the ball to each other, and like
Yeah.
the other team are kind of just chasing around in a merry-go-round. Like I'm sure that everyone's like played a game of football where you can't get near the ball, you can't get near the man, and it's proper infuriating. And I was because at the start, I've got to admit, I was like, I saw PSG do this against Liverpool at home. Like, it's all very pretty. It's all very nice, but where is the threat? Was
Mm.
the constant thing, and it's just crazy when you've got like Dembele playing that. I mean, it looks an easy ball, but that ball he played to the left back, Nuno Mendes,
Mm.
is it's world class. It was the perfect ball. No player in history could have played a better ball there. And then the left back just takes it inside and then lifts it over. Some people think is the best goalkeeper in the world. It was unreal. Like I'm blown away by what I've seen. But let's talk to the comments, shall we? We've got Bilal. How are you, Bilal? I hope you had a good day. What with these devilish colours tonight, Yabba?
Well, Man United, they're the Red Devils. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah. Well, I want Matty Bassett, and here he is. Hello, Matty. How are you? Let's got on with your football team at the weekend. And we've got Mr. B with a good comment here. Is top draw wide men always want to go past their defender. And Kvaratskhelia was the best goal I've seen in a long time. What, 24 hours after that Declan Rice missile? It's great to watch Yabba, but right when I lived in Corby, I remember I used to watch Baywatch on the telly, and it might as well have been science fiction. It was so far removed from my life. Tonight, watching that game, that is so far removed from Manchester United that it might as well be another sport. To be honest, I mean, how long? What do we have to do to get anywhere near the quality that we saw from PSG?
Like I was saying earlier, I think it takes time to build that kind of relationship with your players, with the management, to get what the manager wants, and to have that control. It's like you're playing like AI. It's like AI just taking over and doing, playing football, because what they were doing, you got two generals in there in the midfield, just popping it around together, like you said, with the roundabout with that great midfield of Barcelona. But what we see in these two Portuguese guys as well, little guys, just popping the ball around, taking their time and dictating the play. And you have to. This is the thing with PSG. You had to sit back. You can't rush them because they'll play around you, and then you're in trouble. So the only way it seems, is just to absorb it and look to hit them on the break. But then they just control. When there's a transition, they're there to pick up the ball or pick up the pieces, and then it's back to control. And in the end, you just I felt for the Aston Villa players, even though they performed well. Pau Torres was brilliant today. I just felt for them, because in times like that, when you're trying to play out, so Morgan, Rodgers, and Rashford just don't have the quality to keep the ball and just hold it up. So only when big Onana came on, I thought, where's he been?
Oh yeah,
he really, was able to hold the ball and keep the ball with his strength and build something like that. But for Man United to get to that level, I just think it takes time, patience, and like a bit of discipline and respect for the management to do what the manager wants on the pitch. The manager's got to find players that are in tune with him and and know exactly what to do. And that's the tough thing about it. I think, do you remember when the manager a few months ago, or when he first came to the club, it was a few months ago, he said something along the lines of, I want the players to know what to do in every situation. So whether you're with the ball or without the ball in certain positions, you should automatically know what you're supposed to be doing according to the manager, what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what.
What's that called, Yabba?
What's it called? I don't know.
It's called a game model. That's exactly what a game model is.
Well, there you go. Well, So that's what he wants, and that's what it's going to take for him, for Man United to be as successful as Sporting were when they were like dominating and playing really well and unbeaten for a period of time. It's that's the game model then that Ruben wants, and that's what he wants every player on the pitch to know exactly what to do in every situation on the pitch. That's what
takes time though. Because at the moment I feel that there's a sort of philosophical debate for the soul of football taking place, which is about systems. And what you've said there is the ultimate system. It's where the player knows exactly what to do in any given situation, and it's all planned out in the summer. Like, signings are directed to it, and like make no mistake that all the great football that you've seen, they're all doing this. Like, Kvaratskhelia and Doué and all these players are given license to express themselves. They're allowed to lose the ball in certain situations, but people have to be covering them. They have to be in these other things. It's a tough one, but I believe that you get more creativity in systems than you do without a system, because you've got to find a way of solving a problem under like sort of set rules, as it were.
So you get more creativity in a system than
like a sonnet.
Like what, sorry?
Like a sonnet.
What's a sonnet?
Sonnet is a type of poem where you have to where there's a rhyming scheme, where it has to be like 14 syllables or something, like a haiku.
I don't understand.
None of these things.
But it's okay. I don't know. I've never heard of this.
Right, so sonnet is like William Shakespeare's sonnet. Like, should I compare thee to a summer's day? Stuff like that. The Darling
I didn't go to a private school, unfortunately.
Well, you don't have to understand Shakespeare, do you? I wouldn't know. But the idea is that, like in poetry, that there are rules, and that's where the creativity comes from. It's like finding like ways to sort of like, it's like a song or something. Like there are rules in songs and there are rules in films. And that's where creativity is generated from, is taking novel approaches to those rules.
Same with like James Brown always used to be one of the toughest kind of band leaders, and because he demands everyone to be on point, or you say on the one, that's hit me on the one, and band members used to get fined or kicked out if they just were offbeat just for a second. It had to be perfection at all times, and there was punishments if you weren't. So he'd gone through so many band members where people just got frustrated at the high levels he demanded. But it's all about the performance, wasn't it? It's all about he had the standard he wanted to set, and he wanted everyone to be in tune. And that's the hard thing, is if you relate that to football as well. James Brown's like the manager, and you got the bass player, Maguire, you got the percussion, Bruno, you got the drummer. Who would be the drummer? The drummer boy.
Look, Bruno's going to do everything. He's going to be like one of them one-man bands with the cymbals and the drums.
With all the equipment on him, But
Rasmus is on the triangle, just missing.
And Bailey for Aston Villa, who didn't play today, he would be on the triangle as well. And Ting. What's the thing about Jamaica? Yeah.
Hang on, we'll do some comments, and then I want to pick you up on some things you said about the Villa performance, because I disagree. Okay. PSG are winning it this year. They look like the real deal. I still am concerned about them, about having a goal scorer. Like, if you need a 1-0 in a final, where's it coming from? We got Bart. Bart, you've had a good day, I imagine. Like, Salah and Van Dijk appear to have signed new contracts at Liverpool, which I find a bit annoying, to be honest. We got Steph. Steph, how are you doing? I hope that you've got a trip planned to the pub tomorrow night. Let us know. But you won't know what any of these two things mean. Haiku is cool, but hentai is better.
No idea.
Which would you, if you had to pick one, would you go for a haiku or a hentai?
I'd go for a haiku because it sounds like Haku, one of my favorite wrestlers.
Okay. More Grease Lightning or Systematic? I don't get that joke. Is that something to do with the musical Grease? Have they got a song called Systematic?
I know they got Grease Lightning. I don't know about Systematic.
Who's Clive Stubblefield?
He's the best funky drummer. He was in James Brown's James Brown's band. He was the man who had the drum beat, the funky drummer, which is renowned, which has been sampled so many times. So Clyde Stupperfield is one of the best drummers of all time. Go and look at my proper, yeah, I love him. Big up Subvids, man. We're on the same page. I love my funk too, and Clyde was the man.
All right. Well, so Bart's asking how far ahead of Villa in their development to United. I thought that Villa were pretty good in the first half, to be honest, and I thought Rashford's use of the ball was excellent. I was really impressed with him in the first half. But the second Kvaratskhelia goal went in the second half, I felt that they just looked like little boys out there. They didn't realise that they needed to win fouls to relieve the pressure. Like Disassi, he was the guy that came on for Matic at right back. Absolutely dreadful. Just take the contact, go down, win a foul, get your team out. It was only when Onana came on, who, I mean, he went through them like a Modium at one point. He was so powerful and strong. Like I'd love him to be a Manchester United player, but I was really disappointed with Rashford in the second half, because I was thinking if he had a great game tonight, he could Europe could wake up and they could all be after him and stuff if he made the difference. But really disappointing second half. John McGinn was all right in the first half. He did some funny challenges, but I felt that Villa, that was a really inexperienced performance where they didn't know how to deal with the press. And you just take the fouls when you can.
Yeah, most certainly. I think I'm lying now. I only saw the second half. I didn't see the first half, and I haven't seen the goals really. I've just seen bits and bobs. But I was really like looking at it when I saw 2-1. I thought, Villa, this is a good result, and they would have been loved to have gone home with a 2-1. But the final goal at the end was such a good goal, and it's always the same, is it? You can concentrate for so long, and that split second when you just switch off, it's disaster at that sort of level. It's so, and I feel sorry when you're defending like that for so long, and you're thinking, right, we're 1 goal behind, we're taking 1 goal deficit to Villa, and you're trying to switch on, you're communicating, you're doing really well. Suddenly, when it comes to the last, it's like when you got your keys and you're coming home from work and you need to take a pee, and suddenly you're all right on the way home, and suddenly as soon as you get to the door, you're feeling around your keys. That's when it really, like, the panic.
That's when the pressure's on.
Yeah, the panic really sets in. You can't get your key in the door and you're panicking, and then you end up, maybe rushing and just about making it. But that's how it feels in the last 5 minutes in these sort of games where you're doing all right. 20 minutes to go, you're doing all right. But 5 minutes to go, you see extra time, and you're thinking, okay, now is crunch time. And then you can see like that. They must be gutted coming home tonight, Villa. Because 1 goal would have been okay, but 2 now, I can't see them getting back into it, unfortunately.
Right. Look, stranger results have happened. Like what they do need at Villa Park is an early goal. Like when when you're looking for a comeback, get the early goal, and it's it's game on, as it were. But for me, I absolutely love back to the wall defensive performances, like playing them. I really, really like it. And I know that there are moments in games where I think we're not conceding today. Like it's all been played in front of us. Crosses coming in. I know my centre backs can deal with them. I'm being annoying in the midfield, looking to pinch something, and you feel, even though you're doing loads of defending, it's really enjoyable, and like you feel really confident. I looked at Villa, and it wasn't that. In the first half, that's what they looked like. In the second half, man, they were hanging on from the minute the Carrot Man shot near post, and it was wonderful goal, as Bilal said earlier. It really shows the importance of experience to me. Like, they've got loads of good young players, but honestly, let them play that game in 6 years' time, and it will be very, very different with the same team. Like, Rodgers and things. Like, he had a poor game. I just wish Rashford had really turned up, because I want to get transfer value for him.
I just want to talk about Morgan Rodgers. I mean, what I do like his game up until it's time to shoot. I just think he gets in so many good positions by his own ability, like there's one towards the end where he shot over the bar, but he made the chance himself because his first touch and his strength of his body rolled the Paris defender, whoever it was, and got him shot off. But his shot just went sailing over the bar. And I'm thinking, if only you could finish what you start, because he's unstoppable. I was watching today thinking, you were playing for Middlesbrough last season or a couple of years ago, and now you're playing in this Premier League and you're playing in the Champions League at this high-end level, and you've got England caps now. If only you could just finish off what you create.
Young player, Yabba.
He just drives past people like they're not there and everything. So I was just a bit disappointed. Not for disappointed, but I just think he's such a good player. That's the only thing missing from his game, and he had the opportunity today to do something special.
It's a bit like Garnacho, to be honest. Like there's a lot of good build up, and then he's just. I don't know if it's like. I sometimes think that if you are making a consistent technical error in your game as a young player, you need to be taken out for a match or two. It needs to kind of count so that you go and you work on it, because I don't know, like when you do training, or at least the training that I've done, none of it really is individual training. Like you train as a team, and the other stuff you kind of do by yourself. Like, so with shooting practice or something, I can guarantee you Bruno's getting like the 14-year-old goalkeepers in for penalties and stuff, and he's just bugging them in day after day, practicing on that relentless stuff. But with things like crossing, ball striking, balance, all that kind of stuff, you kind of want them to work in that in private, like private practice, public execution. But the thing is, though, is that maybe because of the academy system, which is really, really high quality, but they're never like we've got rid of the men's reserve league like 10 years ago or something like that. They're not out there performing against men. So with people like Garnacho and Rodgers, it's very frustrating, but it might take 2 or 3 seasons for them to just learn, to sort of get the balance and stuff, because there's no other way of practicing it against like top quality. But I do know what you mean, because I love Morgan Rodgers, but it's not just his shooting, it's his final ball as well. He does all the hard stuff, and then the thing that you think is easier, he just gets it wrong every time. He really does remind me of Garnacho in that way. So
just on the same to talk about another sport, I've got a guy who's a speed coach in America, Micah.
Like running?
Yeah, athletic. Yeah. And he, if you know anything about athletic, but he had a formula for Justin Gatlin in 2015, and Gatlin ran about 5 times at 9.7 that season, and just lost the bolt in the final that year. Sort of bottled it in a way. But we taught athletics and that kind of thing. And there's a guy called Gout, an Australian youngster who's 16, 17. He's running.
Gout.
Yeah, he's Australian.
That's Casemiro and Shaw.
Yeah. He's a Sudanese young guy. He's 16, 17 years old, taking the world by storm because he's Australian, and he's running these fast times. He's run 20 seconds or 10 seconds dead. And he's getting a lot of publicity at the moment. But we were discussing him, and he said, this is the difference between athletics and football. With the technical deficiencies that we're saying with Garnacho's got and Morgan Rodgers, if that's in athletics, they define it, especially in sprinting, they will break it down. And he showed me some pictures and showed me how Gout is running. He says he's going to have a lot of injuries because no one's teaching him proper technique for his running. He's running with his ankles kind of out, his feet are like that a bit when he's sprinting. It's just little bits of form. If you can just reduce it, that could take point something off your time, which would be enough to sort of, be the difference between making a final and not. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think the same applies to footballers. If you've got someone like Garnacho, you always talk about his balance, or we talk about Morgan Rodgers, in those situations, he gets there and then just can't finish his dinner. Someone needs to teach them to come in, even from coming from outside, to teach them some technical aspects where they're going wrong. Because it could be something, like you're saying, that needs to be coached out of your game. Balance, technique, the way you stand, the way think little minor details need to be looked at in these sort of performance things, and that's what this guy does. Michael does in sprinting and had 2 great results because he goes into minute detail and takes something off people's times if they work with him correctly, just on form. Like when you drive out the blocks, for example, your first drive phase. I saw some image the other day. Someone was first drive phase was like that, and the other guy was like that. You know what I'm saying? And it makes a world of difference. So I think if someone I don't know if they have that in football, but you need to work with kids or these footballers to improve certain aspects like shooting, heading, technical stuff like that to get it right. That's a long pause, bath time. Anyway, bath time's gone quiet. Shall we go for some comments? All right, he's muted. Anyway, guys, suddenly we have 10 likes and there's 18 watching. Thank you, Stephanie Griffiths. Bath time's disappeared. He'll be back any minute now. Rashford annoying me at Villa. Even at Villa says, I am titanium. We got Kieran in the house. How you doing? He says, imagine if Arsenal win the Champions League, their fans would be bearable or unbearable, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. Danny B, how you doing? Sorry, Bartol, you're right.
Yeah, good. Carry on.
Yeah. Kieran's saying here, it's okay, Stephanie. I've spelt my own name wrong several times. No drugs says I'm titaniums. Shunganese.
No. Just say that, and Bilal will say, "Well, this is a joke. He's making a joke on you here."
I don't get it. Sudanese.
So,
he's mixed up with.
No, say the sug harder.
Sug.
Yeah, say it all together.
Sudanese. Sudanese.
Yeah, right. He'll come back.
Okay. Who is that? Iron Titanium. Very funny. Big up to Sydney. PSG's wide players have something that can only dream of. That's pace. Good evening to you. Did you both play? If so, what bad habits had to be eradicated from your game? The first one that comes to mind for me is my foot is kind of shaped funny. So when I shoot and I want to shoot on target, it ends up going somewhere else. And I always found it hard. So I ended up shooting. I always found that my side foot was very accurate. So I ended up shooting my side foot, but that was not good technique. I'm a size 15 shoe, so it's hard to shoot with my laces. It just never goes on target. So I needed help technically with my shooting for sure. And definitely when I was younger with my heading, because it used to sometimes, maybe we were young, we played these heavy balls. I used to get kind of concussed and see stars, and it put me off heading. It's only when I got into my 20s I became a very good header, like boom, kind of thing. But when I was younger, I was too scared of the ball because a couple of times my head would be spinning, brain would be, really bad. What's yours, Bath Time? Is saying what bad habits had to be eradicated from your game?
Making comments to opposition players on the pitch was one of them. I've had awful discipline, like when I was 14 or 15. But when like my mic messed up for some reason, I was talking. We've discussed this before, but I used to go to an athletics club myself to try and improve my running because, I'm slow compared to footballers, not to the chat, but to proper footballers, I'm slow. And I had to do a lot of work on that kind of upright position you need when you're sprinting.
So did they teach you technique then in that track? Okay.
Yeah,
did it sort of help?
It did, yeah. It didn't turn me from running the 100 in from 12 seconds to 10 seconds or anything, but it did help. But all my weaknesses were always physical. I'm all right with the football. I did used to over elaborate a bit too much. I needed to simplify my game, rather than. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're younger, you're pissing about, like trying to show that you're a player. When really you just need to do the simple stuff. And I'd say I didn't really learn that till I was about 17 or 18.
What's the best advice you ever got half time regarding like making a big leap in improvement in your game by something someone said or something? You know, it was really anything that someone said
Not
to
a
you?
big leap. Like I picked up stuff like that kind of gradually sort of accumulated. The most helpful thing that I was told is about my dribbling. So I used to play as number 10, be a dribbler. But like my coach Carlos told me in Chile that one of the problems I had was I wasn't looking to unbalance a man. Like that if I wasn't fast, the first thing I needed to do was get them off balance. So instead of receiving the ball or on my back foot, like get it on your right foot. Always be ready to go both ways and notice when the player's unbalanced. And I mean, I don't dribble anymore, really. I'm more of a carrier, as it were. But I found that was useful. It's something I always used to look at Jadon Sancho. When you don't have acceleration, like when you don't have real pace, you've got to rely on acceleration, and it's best when you've unbalanced your opposite man. So I found that helpful. What about you?
When I make this very quick. When I was young, I was very good, like at the level. I was like one of the elite players, but it was more to do with pace and athleticism. I had a growth spurt and I lost my balance. I wasn't very good after that. And I used to get knocked off the ball and I couldn't do what I used to do. I lost a bit of confidence. When I got back into football and started playing again properly, my experience when I went away, when I came back from that, I felt like the best player I've ever been because I learned control, as in being comfortable on the ball again and being not afraid of the ball and being able to keep the ball in tight areas and keep the ball well, being able to hold up the ball, being able, like for example, getting in front of a man when the ball's coming to you, to get in front of a man, then it's mine. You know, that sort of thing. And when I've got it, even though I'm not particularly skillful, whatever, I can chop you and do a Cruyff turn, whatever. But I felt that I've used my body better and became more understanding of my body, my size, my shape, and what I did really well. And it's just basically simplified my game and not trying to do too much. Yeah. So I got to a point where I felt like I was really good in the way I performed, just by those characteristics. That even now, when I'm watching my team play on a Sunday, I'm thinking, man, you just don't get it. It's like it's a eureka moment when it really clicks for you, when you understand the game's easy, you know. And even there was an old guy playing for us against us the other day. He was the best player in the pitch because he just played the way he's played him, simple, pop, pop, pop. And all these other guys running around chasing couldn't do it, couldn't keep the ball. So for me, it's about simplifying the game. Once I realized how simple the game was and what just the simple things you had to do to keep the ball and be comfortable with the ball and base your game on not losing the ball and punish yourself if you did, that's how you improve. And that's how that's the best thing I kind of learned.
Was that from New Zealand? You picked that up?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not trying to say anything, but it was definitely playing around proper players and a better level. I was used to, and having to focus purely on football from working and smoking and doing all kind of thing. Suddenly, it's 100% football, proper full time.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really improved the game, you know.
But it's interesting that both of us I think all footballers need to learn this. This is what I've talked about with Rashford for years. Is you need to minimise your game a lot of the time. You need to focus on what you're good at, get yourselves in those positions, and make it simple. Yeah. Like you'll see so many players doing so much stuff that they don't need to be doing. Like just play it simple. If you can run, if you can pass the ball, run and control the ball, just do that. If you can shoot and run, just do that. If you're good at heading the ball and you can deal with your man, do that. It's not it's not that difficult, but you need to kind of also like learn your body, as it were. Like learn, because you're a big guy. So if I'm playing against you, I know I need to make quick turns against you. I've got to use your size against you and keep the game like smaller. Because if we go long, there's no way I'm dealing with you over like wide open spaces. You're going to be too strong and powerful for me. So I've got to get you in areas where you don't want to be, and then I've got to move quickly at angles.
Good one. All right. A lot of comments about this. Just quickly, I think what everyone's steering to now is about the Onana stuff. We've got Sue.
Yeah.
How you doing, Sue? Lovely to see you. She's saying here, Onana, please perform tomorrow. It's all I got to say. I want to say hi to Rich Sports as well. I keep calling you Rich Sports, but it's Red Devil United. That is Rich, isn't it?
That is Rich, yeah.
Okay. All right. Big up.
He'll always be Rich to us, I think.
Okay. Big up Red Devils United. Rich, hope you're doing well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. And Sydney's talking about her bad habits. We're always trying to play 100 miles an hour football. My first knee injury forced me to reassess how I played, and I ended up.
Ended up what?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
Ended up getting married.
And Bath Time just touching it because you tried to improve speed, but
Yes.
Bath saying, can a pro footballer improve his speed and in particular his vertical strides? I say yeah.
Yeah, it depends. It depends what you're working from. Like anything, there's a technique to do stuff. And one thing that always makes me laugh is Yabba loves athletics and never calls out Harry Maguire for his arms when he's running. Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about.
No, you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, it's like I've got a friend who he wants to do as much running as I do. So I mean, like jogging and stuff like that. And the first thing that you have to do after getting all the shoes and stuff is generally like watch a YouTube video on form on how you run, because it just makes things easier. And if you're doing something physical, there's always a technique to it, and you can always improve on that technique. And I am stunned that like when Yabba talks about this coach that is looking after, he's getting like marginal gains for these runners that are huge at their level. Like why someone like Garnacho isn't going out and finding out from lots of top sports scientists, like where to put the muscle on, like how he needs to run, like where his balance needs to be. They've got to be doing it. I can't believe they're not.
All right. Kieran's saying here, Matic called out Onana. He wants to look at himself because he was average at best in the United shirt. Look, we need to get on this story because a lot of people are talking about it Bath Time. I know there's a few quotes, but can you just set the stage for us? What's gone down today? Because it's in all the news.
Okay, so we're playing Lyon tomorrow night, and President Matic plays for Lyon now. And Onana made some comments, and one of the comments he made is that United should have too much quality for them.
Stop! Wait! Did you say Matic plays for Lyon?
Yeah,
I had no idea. Oh my god! So we'd be. I just thought he'd retired or something. Wow! All right, rewind. Sorry to interrupt. Wow!
Yeah.
I've
got to say, we didn't bring it up in the preview because I also didn't know that he played for Lyon. And Matic is a player I like a lot. But yeah, so Onana made some comments where he was actually quite respectful to Lyon, but he slipped in the one about how, United should win, we're better than them, etc. Matic went to do the press conference today with his manager. And in the press conference, he had some pretty choice quotes. So Onana basically said that on paper, United are better than Lyon. And Matic said, when you are one of the worst goalkeepers in Manchester United's history, you need to be careful of what you are saying. And then he went on to say, if you were Van der Sar or De Gea or Schmeichel, maybe I'd think differently, but you are statistically the worst goalkeeper in modern Manchester United's history.
Wow.
And then Onana came back, like he sort of released a statement on Twitter, which was, I would never be disrespectful to another club. We know that tomorrow will be a difficult game against a strong opponent. We'll focus on preparing a performance to make our fans proud. At least I've lifted trophies with the greatest club in the world. Some can't say the same. Presumably, he has forgotten that Matic won the Europa League with us.
Wow. Drama.
All right, what are you thinking, Yabba? What are your initial thoughts to Matic kind of stepping back, as it were?
Well, let me say this. I'm just still in shock. This is like honest reaction. You know when people do YouTube videos of, I'm gonna do a reaction to this song or something, and they've heard it before and they're acting like they haven't. This is a genuine, honest reaction. I assumed that the quote would be made by Matic sitting in a studio somewhere or sitting in his retirement home in Serbia talking about it. I had no idea he's still playing and he's playing for Lyon, and this is how it's brought up. I just thought it was a quote that he was said. I just feel it does stir things up for the game tomorrow, and it puts pressure, I believe, on Manchester United because of the talk from Onana saying, "Oh, playing for player," or what seems to come out of player for player. We've got a better team. We should win. Don't like to hear that because that just gives motivation to Lyon, and they will be gunning for us now. I believe after this all it needs. Sometimes you need to light the fuse, and I think something like that would have really benefited the Lyon players to be up for it more so than Man United. Because I'm sure if I was a teammate of Onana, I'd be saying to him, "Why the f would you go do something like that? They're going to be on fire now. They're going to be coming for us. You better perform." Really, I think that's backfired on us as a team. And if they weren't fired up, Lyon, then they will be tomorrow because Matic is a key guy in this game. Clearly, he knows about Man United Football Club. He's been there for a long time. He knows the vulnerabilities, the weaknesses we've had as a culture of the club because he was the one putting up people turning up late, and putting the list out. So he will be able to give some good feedback to the players and tell them, what to do and how to react, and what players like Lindelof, who's been there for a long time. I think he played with Maguire as well. And just the whole feel of the club. It's going to be a very interesting game, and this just spices it up even more for me.
Yeah, I mean, Matic, as you say, has made some catty comments about United over the years. Like the story you're referring to is why we call him President Matic, is that he tried to be a he tried to impose like a fine system in the dressing room and stuff like that. No one listened to him and things. And Matic is, a 2-times Premier League winner. In my opinion, he's a wonderful midfielder. He's absolutely brilliant. And I can also remember years ago, Man City were playing PSG in the Champions League. And after they qualified, Phil Foden's social media team put a picture up of Foden and they added Kylian Mbappe saying, can't wait to see you, Kylian. And it got taken down within 2 minutes. Like Foden saw it and said, you do not do that. Yeah. Take that. And maybe one that's a bit closer to home is we played Newcastle United and Ten Hag made some ridiculous comments where I think they beat us at home and we were playing them away or something. And he said, they were lucky. They just tried to kill the ball. We were the better team. And Eddie Howe just put the comments up in the dressing room and said, read these, get stuck into them. And they absolutely did us. It was that game where Martial and Rashford nearly had a fight on the pitch.
Yeah.
You just don't, you've got to let clubs sleep, don't wake them up. Don't say anything that they can unite around. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Right, lads, everyone's having a fight with Sydney in the comments. Sydney has the soul of Bart, if you know what I mean. So, there's no need to get in a fight. It's just another person on the internet. If you don't like what they're saying, just ignore it. You're all adults and you should have more emotional control.
Oh, yeah, I'm just seeing the drama going on. It's going
on. But you told me he played in the Europa Cup, and I said I didn't think he did. So Onana was correct. Matic won nothing with United, which It's also a bit of a catty comment. I mean, can you imagine the scenes if Matic, rakes a free kick in against Onana?
Wow. Okay. So he didn't. Onana was right. He probably done his research on that and came back.
Maybe he used AI, Yabba.
Yeah, quite possibly. It wouldn't surprise me. I've had a few shocks there, haven't I, about AI?
Yeah. Tell them about what amazed you today.
I was interviewing a woman, and she didn't speak any English. She only spoke Arabic. She's from Sudan, and it's really difficult. And I was thinking, oh God, and I already had a headache. Thinking this is going to be long. And then she got out her phone, and I could speak in the phone, and it would translate in Arabic. And I think, okay, this is pretty good. Then I was able to go on the computer and type in English to Arabic, and whatever I wanted to say to her, I said, we're now going to do housing benefit form, buff. It will come up, and she go, oh yes. And then, unbelievably, because we had to do some paperwork, she took a picture of the paperwork, because it was like one of these things you had to fill in a questionnaire, yes, no, maybe sort of stuff about things. Do you want to volunteer? Do you want to go to education? Do you want to do training or whatever? And she took a picture of it and showed me, and I'm watching her phone, and suddenly the picture turned into Arabic. The English turned into Arabic. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? In seconds. I was like, my God, this is outrageous. And after I was like, yeah, that's been going on for years. I told him about it backstage. I couldn't believe it. Wow.
I use it for menus when I go abroad if I can't speak the language. Absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
Shout out to Andrew. He's on his alt account tonight. We've got 18 likes and 22 people watching Yabba for a show that we put up 5 minutes before we were meant to go. Maybe this is the way.
Loyalty, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, lads. We do actually have another story which has warmed the cockles of my cold heart, Yabba.
Cockles and muscles, is that the same thing? Cockles, what it means?
I actually don't know.
Cockles and mussels.
I mean, cockles is some sort of seafood, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would be.
I've never had. Have you ever had jellied eels?
I have. Yeah, there used to be a pie and mash shop near me. I tried
What's
it.
What's that like?
When I think I had to mix it up with the mash, and there's some green kind of gravy or something, some green sauce. Once I mixed it up with that and didn't think about it, I was able to swallow it. But eating it on its own, jellied eels, oh my God, no, it can't go down.
No, I couldn't take that at all. It's all right. It's all right, Bilal. I've got him. Disgusting comments. I don't know why this guy has no respect for himself to come somewhere where he doesn't want to come. Unbelievable.
Is this Mr. V?
Yeah. Like unreal. But what has warmed the cockles, the pie and mash, the mystery green sauce? Oh my God.
Go on.
There's a lot going on there. It's very carb heavy, this heart. Is that Amarin has been speaking about Kobe Mainu very positively.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So he was asked in the presser about what's going on with Kobe, where do you see him, blah blah blah, and he said look, we have to look at the example of Casemiro, where I've had to kind of learn the best way to use Casemiro. Kobe is a top player, and we've got to find a place for him. I see him making a difference further up the pitch with his dribbling and his shooting and so on. And this is music to my ears, because I adore Kobe Mainu as a football. So it looks like Kobe is now one of our 10s.
Wow, this is a live press conference. He said this.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. I need to search this up. I can't believe that. I don't know how you guys feel about that in the comments, but I'm kind of excited about that. Do you feel the same, Bath Time, about Kobe? Because we haven't seen him for so long, and I think people have written him off, but you have to remember he was like the star last season and scored the FA Cup final goal and everything, and then played in the European Championships.
Finals.
And played really well. And suddenly he's been out of action, and we've kind of forgotten about him. And the manager's bigged him up, and we've been thinking, trash him, sell him, and all this kind of thing. Tyrone Williams, how you doing? Big up to you. I don't know how you feel about that.
On holiday.
Oh, he's playing football. He's playing football tonight.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by that. So I was wrong. I must admit, I was wrong about this. I thought in this system he definitely had to play as 1 or 2 6s because of his game. His game's technical, tight. I just didn't think him as a 10 would work. But it seems that the manager and you disagree.
I do. I mean, like when we did Bilal, when we did our Dungeons and Dragons stream, I was adamant that Kobe Minu has to be in the team. Like, I mean, he has issues, okay, but they're not his fault. His issues. It's about athleticism and things like that, and there's nothing you can do about that. And I mean, when I look at this team, sometimes I think, where would Paul Scholes play in this team? Where would David Beckham play in this team? And you know, we know the quality of these players, but Beckham would probably be put as a right wing back, to be honest, with that engine that he had and his delivery. Yeah. Scholesy, would you put him as the 10?
Initially, when he started his career, he was in that position, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe there until he sort of slowed down and put him as quarterback 6.
Well, it's also not, for me, it's not so much slowing down. It's also like getting a better feel for the game. Like, I say this quite often, but Pirlo was a number 10 until he was 30. And then he went to 6. And like in Italian football, for example, you put your best passer at the number 6, like Jorginho and things. Like not Kaká, sorry, Gattuso was a number 8. God, he's got another one. Unreal. Like Gattuso wasn't a 6. He was a number 8 alongside Seedorf with Pirlo like holding. And for me, I look at Kobe Minu, and we saw that we've seen goals against Liverpool. We've seen goals against Wolves. Like we've seen him making a difference up the pitch. I think that he's very diligent in his defending. Like he knows what he's trying to do, and he does it. But it's just the physicality is an issue because there's so much space to recover, and he's not a natural athlete, but he's a wonderful carrier of the football. Like, do you remember when he like went on a little run against Liverpool in like an outside left position, chopped a couple of men, I think, and that we might even have scored from it. I would love to see him like in the number 10. The only problem I have is that one of our 10s has got to get ahead of the ball. And if you have Bruno, Bruno's not going to get ahead of the ball. And I don't know if Kobe getting ahead of the ball is the best use of him. So if you play Casemiro and Bruno as a pivot, and then you have Kobe with either Garnacho or Mount, I think you're onto something there with that box.
Okay. That makes a bit of sense. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, just listening. I've never really thought of him as a 10. It's only when the manager started playing in there recently, and we've had conversations on here where you've endorsed it, as you just did when you just summarising why he would play there and why it'd be effective. So I've never really gone into detail or thought about it. I always thought, I was stubborn with it. I felt, he's clearly got to be as a 6 with his game and picking up the ball from deep and building up and playing little short passes and triangles and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, the manager clearly knows more how to utilize him in this system. And hopefully, I'll be excited to see him do something. I just think, like, long term, we're looking at Paris today. Their young players are just, it's like you have to be an athlete first. I mean, that stadium is, I'm sure it's an athletics track where they play as well.
Stade de France, isn't it?
Is it? No.
Was it Parc de France? Stade de France?
No, I don't think it is. Maybe. Yeah.
It's in Saint-Denis, no?
Okay. Well, maybe
you're the French expert.
I'm not sure. Ask someone in the comments. I'm
I
not
thought it was specially built for the '98 World Cup.
It looks like it's got like, is it? Oh, there we go. Part of
Okay,
the
they're
print.
saying Parc de France. So this is
Right.
this the same as the rugby stadium?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, for years I remember watching them play at the Parc de France, but it's
Stade de
got.
France different.
Oh, right. So this where they play at the moment, it looks like the fans are far away. So I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's like you must be right. It's like an Italian stadium, isn't it? Which were all built for the Olympics.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it's got a track around it. I'm just trying. Anyway, I was going off track there. I was just trying to say, if you look at Kobe, yeah, great technical player and all that kind of thing. But when I'm comparing to these youngsters coming through at PSG, they're all physically fast, physically strong. Even the youngster who came on, man, he was hench. He was massive. His
Which
shirt.
one? Barkala.
No, not Barkley. The one who came off the bench. He was 18-year-old.
Zaire or something.
Yeah,
Zaire.
he just looked shredded, really big and strong. And I thought, wow, it's amazing to see. So I think if you're going to utilize someone like Kobe and his attributes, he's going to have to do something special. Because you can't. I mean, you can play football around these guys with physicality, but they're smart as well. They're really good. So, and I'm starting to think that Paris will start ruling, or PSG will start ruling football. All it takes them to win one Champions League, and they will dominate football for a long time. I think with the finances they got behind them. Mendes, like you said, there, Andrew.
Yeah.
All these guys are really good players. So going back to Kobe, he's got to look around, and say, well, at my age group, can I compete with these guys? There you go.
So I kind of agree with Tyrone. Like Paris to me is like a worse version of London. It's dirtier and there's more French people there. So I don't know why anyone would want to go. But right. So two things I want to ask you. First of all, is Andrew is talking about some of the players for PSG tonight, and I'm going to ask you, like, which are the ones that you think can make the transition to, like, English football? But firstly, Paris have kind of, like, PSG rather, have kind of reinvented themselves in what feels like a year. Like, since, like, shipping off Mbappe, they've obviously not cast off, but Messi's gone, Neymar has gone. They seem to have turned it around really, really quickly. Don't forget, their sporting director broke their manager's nose in a football match once. Like, Leonardo is sporting director for PSG.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't shock you.
No,
I thought that would.
No, I think Leonardo's been there for a while, hasn't he? He's
yeah, but do you not remember France? Is it France? No, USA '94. Enrique got his nose broken.
By Leonardo. Leonardo got sent off, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the sporting director, and Enrique is now the manager. I think that's quite a weird turnaround. And
I'm sure they've made up. They've clearly.
That's like Beckham and Simeone, like sort of like working together.
I didn't realize. I remember Leonardo getting sent off. Was it for a tackle on Luis Enrique?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was in '98. He got sent off.
It was '94, I think. I think it was in the USA.
Right.
One of our stats guys in chat will tell us. But do you think that the way that they've turned things around so quickly, and also remember that, like, Arsenal, did they get back-to-back eighth in the league finishes?
That's right. Yeah, they did.
And then, is there any chance that United could take a super leap forward the way that PSG appear to have?
Yeah, I think
How?
so. Just based on this, I just think we were coming second recently just by a formula that was just like a quick fix thing. And we could never make that jump. When we were second, we were still well off first place or winning anything. So it's easy to get there by just spending money. But I think the hard goal is to maintain, to get to the top, which we couldn't before, and maintain. I just think the formula is, as we said, you mentioned Arteta and the 2 8th places. We've had to take a back step to build. And I'm just going to make the parallel with Paris. they had the quick fix: Messi, Neymar, Cavani, Ibrahimovic, Thiago Silva. All these big players come in to give the youngsters, and in the meantime, they're building the young players to come through. They've got great young players coming through at Paris for years. They have, they've really invested in that. Now we start seeing them blossom, but in the meantime, they had to have all these legends come in and do their thing and show a standard there for these young guys to look up to. So Bakar, what's his name? The winger, Bakar. Barcola, yeah. Him, for example, he can see he's fashioned his game off of Neymar, off of Mbappe. He's got a bit about everything on about his game, and these other guys coming through. So they've witnessed all these Paris legends around the club, and it's the culture of the club. And now these guys are coming through. It's taking
years. It's changed the culture, isn't that the point? Like,
but that's the thing. So now these guys come through, and they've been brought up through the club, and now they're playing for the club. They're easier to manage, I believe. So Luis Enrique can get more of a tune out of them rather than a big-time player coming from Barcelona or from elsewhere, big signing. He can get more of a tune out of these players because they're coming in. For one, they're hungry. For two, they're young and they want to achieve something, and they're easily coached because they've come through the system. They're not big wigs who've come from elsewhere. So I think that's the advantage.
One of them was signed for 50 million from Ron.
From who?
From Rene.
Who is that?
Doué.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The guy who scored tonight. It was a 50 million euro signing.
Fair enough. Well, that's within the French league. I mean, that's quite slightly different. I'm talking about sort of big. We're talking about the Messis, the Neymars, who have come in from outside, the Zlatans and Thiago Silvas, who are coming from AC Milan and Italy.
You know my theory on Cavani and Mbappe, though. I've said it enough, which is Cavani was a wonderful near post finisher. Like that was his sort of comfort finish, was that sweep into the near post. And I think everyone has seen that Mbappe, that's his finish. It's like setting it out so it looks like he's going to Thierry Henry it, as it were, and then hitting it near post. Rooney. And I think, sorry?
Rooney was good at that as well, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that Cavani has passed that on to like Mbappe.
Okay.
So like obviously like having amazing like players is gonna help other players, but it's definitely a cultural thing, Yabba, because Messi, the man didn't run. He didn't need to. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Like he's earned the right not to run. Neymar didn't run. Mbappe didn't run. They just had three people standing up the pitch. And tonight I saw Carrot Boy, Doué coming back and playing. They looked to me like a proper team, all over, all committed, all working for the same thing. I saw Rashford like waving his arms around in the second half when a ball wasn't inch perfect to him. And like Kvaratskhelia was quite content to just wander about for a couple of minutes before the ball got to him and go. And I don't know. I think we've got to clean out our squad to get that kind of cultural change. Myself, I'm not sure.
Well, I think if you look at the Paris squad, don't know. I'm sure you can ask the comments, but maybe there's about 4 or 5 players that have come through, youngsters come through the club, and obviously 1 or 2 that have come youngsters that come through from other clubs as well in the French football. We've taken Euro, a young player. Real Madrid in recent years. I was watching the game yesterday, and they got Camavinga, who got sent off. But I was thinking, wow, imagine if he was still in French football. French league could be, crazy good if a lot of these players stayed. So I think it's the reason they're successful now. I totally agree with you. Is because they've got rid of the other guys, and you've got a lot of hungry youngsters coming through who can be coached, who will listen and will be in tune, and they're controlling, they're dominating, they're pressing well, they're just beasts. The way and evidence is there. The way they dealt with Villa today, the way they dealt with Liverpool over 2 legs. This is a side that are close to peaking and being dominant, in football, and over one
Yeah.
game, I reckon they could beat anybody because they've got the penetration, the control, and the hunger and organisation to make it work. So we need to sort of take these attributes that they've got and create our own sort of dynasty to going forward. If we can do that, and that requires bringing youngsters through, hungry young players who respect the manager and want to work to sort of perform and become identified.
The thing is, though, Yabba, is
on the
I
pitch.
don't disagree. I don't disagree with you that getting a sort of tranche of like youngsters in is a good idea. The problem I have is that you need a sort of like almost mercurial experienced figure to help them out. Like there's, like obviously Cantona is the big one, but you think about the youngsters that got fed into United teams, they always had to deal with the expectations and the standards of the football club.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, I don't know about Bruno and his standards, to be honest, because one of the complaints I've had about Maguire and Bruno is that they've let a lot go during their captaincy.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's been also like Matic, President Matic spoke about it. That was under Maguire. Like with Bruno, we've seen like Rashford getting drunk in Belfast and stuff like that. And I wonder if we need to get someone in who is that kind of player in order for this to happen. You can't just throw a bunch of kids in and expect them to do well. They need guidance. Surely we can agree on that.
Yeah, I do agree with that. That's what I was saying. I think Paris had 4 or 5 youngsters in the team, but beyond that, they had the experience there as well. And their captain is a fullback, really good player, Moroccan player, isn't he? Hakim.
Is it Hakimi the captain?
Hakimi is the captain of the
club. They've got Marquinhos, who didn't play tonight, who's suspended as well.
Oh, right. Okay. So, obviously he's a very good player, isn't he? He's probably one of the best in world football in his position. So the way he gets up and down and everything else, but he's a good example. He must be a good pro. And he was on Real Madrid's books at one point.
He was,
yeah. So they got good pros around them. So, like I say, with the 4 or 5 youngsters, it's easy to come into the side when you've got players who are responsible and doing their thing. I'm talking about Hakimi. I'm talking about the goalkeeper. I'm talking about the centre backs. That they're solid with Marquinhos as well. In midfield, they might be young, but Neves and Vitinho play together. They're Portuguese. They're on the point, and they've also got Fabian Ruiz as well, who's played for Napoli, played in Serie A, top player as well. So they've got enough experience in there, but with the flying youngsters they have, and Dembele, who seems to be
Dembele's an experienced player, I think, as well. Like, he's played for sort of Barcelona. He was incredible at Dortmund. He's probably won World Cups with France. Like, he's very impressive. And Kvaratskhelia is also, I think, quite an experienced player.
Yes, yeah, that's true. So they've managed it well. They're doing really well. Luis Enrique, credit to him because he sort of goes under the radar, doesn't he? When we talk about Pep and all these guys, but he's a Spanish coach who, has done a bit. And when you really look at his record, he's can't be sort of overlooked as someone who's not a good manager. He is a good manager, and that's why he's been in Paris so long, because he's got the ability now to show what he's really about. Obviously, I think he went close to Spain. Did he win?
Yeah, no. I think they got knocked out they lost to Italy on penalties, I think, with Enrique in Euro 2020.
Oh, was it? Okay. So fair enough. Good to have a manager like that, a young manager who's getting the tune out of these PSG.
Well, did you ever see the clip of him talking to Mbappe about defending from the front?
I don't think I have.
It was when they knew that Mbappe was like leaving. And have you seen it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's coming to light now. Yeah, but the more you talk, go on.
It was like a video. It was VA. It was video analysis, And he was talking about how he had to be an example to everyone else on the pitch, that you help your teammates out by defending from the front, being aggressive, like trying to get things going. And this is how you be a leader as a striker. And when you're such a good player like he is, that you know, like people are going to respect you, but you've got to go and show on the pitch, like how to be a top player. And it was very impressive to me when I saw it, because, you know, this Mbappe, as ridiculous as it sounds, is the nearest thing that there's been to Pele for quite a long time. He's nearly won back-to-back World Cups, and has he got 5 goals in World Cup finals?
Did he score a hat trick? He's the only one after Jeff Hurst, I think.
Yeah, like unreal what he's done in football. But right, kind of, I know we've got a lot of people watching, but you know, we've all got to work in it. Yeah, but I want a definitive answer on 2 questions. The first one is, what is the score tomorrow? And the second is, who's winning the European Champions League?
All right, score tomorrow, playing Lyon. Being heated up, obviously, guys, with the Matic and Onana face head-to-head. That's going to be set things like. I think I saw some footage earlier of Aston Villa fans getting harassed and beaten up by the Paris fans.
They're crazy Paris fans.
Oh, wow, it was scary. And back in the day, obviously, the Birmingham and Aston Villa mob, you think they're pretty hard. These Paris, I've seen them in the footage when you're watching the game. I've seen some of these Paris fans. They are nutters and look tough as well. So I just hope it's not the same with Lyon and we don't get a beating down there. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. I really think we can. What we did against Man City the other day is, again, just highlights to me of how good we are in neutralizing teams. We can do it. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think we can cancel them out because they've got Matic and Lacazette. Come on, these guys are older, and then there's young players around them. They're 5th in the league, which suggests they've got something about them. But I think we've got enough about us to get a 0-0 draw. I think we can take them home with a 0-0 draw, and like we did on the weekend, and that would be good. That would be good for us.
Yeah,
and then we'll be excited about the return. As regards to winning the Champions League, I heard Barcelona. I haven't seen it play. I haven't seen enough of Barcelona, but I heard they beat Dortmund 4-0 today. But for me, it has to be Paris, because not only did I think if sometimes you want a team to win, and I do want Paris to win it, but I think they can win it as well. To add to that, and I think it's time for them to win it. Arsenal, people are suggesting Arsenal. I just don't think they've got overall, when it comes over 2 legs, there's no guarantee they're going to get through against Real Madrid, even though they're winning 3-0.
Yeah,
I just think there's no guarantee with them. But for me, it's Paris Saint-Germain. I've seen them play against Liverpool over 2 legs. I've seen them play tonight, and for me, they're scary good.
So PSG for you.
Yeah. Who's yours?
Well, I did the comments first.
Okay.
Kieran is saying that Inter Milan are winning the Champions League.
Okay.
Yeah. PSG and 1-0 to United from Andrew. This is an interesting one. 2-2 and Madrid winning. So overcoming Arsenal and then going on to win it. Sydney is saying 0-0 and then PSG. 1-1 draw, Barcelona.
Wow.
1-1 draw, Barcelona. And a 1-1 draw from Kieran. Is he happening in the red light district in the Dam? You would know, Big G. You tell us. Yamal is the best player in the world. Right. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be a draw. Maybe 1-1, maybe 0-0. But we kind of know what Amarin is about at this time, and he likes to kind of wear teams down and then, try and hit them on the break with the subs and stuff. I don't think that our subs really have the quality or the fitness at this time to make a difference. Like, if he brings on Kobe and Mount, I don't know if they're quite there yet to do it, but I think we'll get a good result. and a draw away from home in Europe is never a bad result.
Yeah.
For the Champions League, I am a little bit worried about Arsenal, to be honest, but I think PSG. But I haven't seen much Barcelona, to be truthful.
Same. Yeah. Quality teams.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, but I was a bit sceptical about the Champions League this year and the new format, but it's been absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. Like, had so many good group stage games. The knockouts have been absolutely amazing. I wish we were in it, contributing to these nights.
Special, isn't it? This is the elite level football, and you could do like everything you can domestically, but at the end of the day, when you look and see football being played elsewhere, and you want to, match up against these great sides, and go for it, that's where it really matters. That's where you want to be playing Champions League football. So hopefully we'll get back there soon and have a team good enough to compete.
All right. So tomorrow, I don't think that we're going to have a watch along. I'm sure that there are many channels where you can go and have a watch along, but you won't get like a better reaction than with us, where Yabba, he'll tell you about what crazy AI stuff he's seen during the day. I can talk about sonnets and Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Me and Yabba will be back at like about 10 minutes, 15 minutes after the game ends tomorrow night. But thank you so much to the 20 people that have joined in. We love each and every one of you, and it's always great to see you all. So it is a lack a notch from me.
And a lack a notch from me.